Hello everyone, I Jhirak Patel, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication, welcoming you to the session of Power Electronics. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 1 with topic UJT and its characteristic, IGBT, its operation. So let's start the session. First of all, as we discussed about the UJT in the last lecture, that UJT is a unijunction transistor. It is mainly used to trigger the silicon control rectifier. It has a 3-terminal with lightly doped N-type material and 2 base contacts like this. Here in the figure you can see that the emitter and 2 base contacts with one junction PN. Here only one junction PN junction is present, that's why it is called as a unijunction transistor, and here 2 base contacts are there, that's why it is called as a duo base diode. So the circuit symbol is like this: UJT, emitter, base 1 and base 2, 2 base diodes, that's why it is called as a duo base diode. This is the equivalent circuit of UJT that is used to calculate the voltage across each resistance that we discussed. UJT characteristic is mainly the current versus voltage characteristic. Here you can see that in this figure, emitter voltage versus emitter current is shown, VE versus IE graph is shown. Here initially when emitter potential increases, the current also increases. This increases will take place in the conduction region. Now when the conduction will happen, so for this you have to consider the voltage across the first base diode and voltage across the second base diode. So first of all, when we want to calculate the voltage across first diode, so you have to consider this equivalent circuit, this circuit. Here first voltage across this RB1 is considered. So voltage across RB1 is calculated using voltage divider rule, that RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2 into multiplication. The term is total voltage term. So it will be like this: VRB1 is equal to RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2 total resistance into total voltage. Okay, so this is how we can calculate the voltage across one. Now how it helps in conduction? So when this voltage will be equal to, here this factor RB1 upon RB1 plus RB2, it is called as a eta, which is called as an intrinsic factor. So when it is equal to this eta, the total voltage is equal to eta, at that time the peak point is achieved. Up to then the conduction happened, and when this value eta will achieve, then after this value it is called as a negative resistance region. Means with increase in current the voltage decreases, and because of reduction in voltage, R is equal to V upon I. If we reduce the voltage, then obviously the resistance also decreases. That's why it is called as a negative resistance region. Here the valley point is the end of negative resistance region, means after this valley point again increase in voltage as well as increase in current will happen. So this after valley point, the region is called as a saturation region. So this is UJT characteristic. The application of UJT is to trigger the SCR, silicon control rectifier. Now let's see about IGBT. The full form of IGBT is insulated gate bipolar transistor. It overcomes the limitation of BJT and power MOSFET. Now we all know that the BJT has a limitation, because BJT, bipolar junction transistor, is one type of current control device. Means its collector current depends on its base current, and it is also dependent on the temperature. Means as temperature changes, the current values also changes in case of BJT. So this is the limitation of BJT. And power MOSFET has the limitation of on-state resistance. So these two limitations of BJT and MOSFET can be overcome using IGBT. means the best features of BJT and MOSFETs are combined in case of this IGBT insulated gate bipolar transistor. It can also be known as compact conductivity modulator field effect transistor. It is also called as IGT insulated gate transistor and bipolar mode MOSFET. So it can also be asked as discuss about COMFET or IGT or bipolar mode MOSFET for IGBT. It has the highest switching speed as compared to MOSFET in a nanosecond range, means easily turn on and turn off time, low on state loss. This low on state loss is the best feature of IGBT, because in case of MOSFET, we discussed in the last lecture that the limitation of MOSFET is that as it has the high on state loss because of the high on state resistance. So in this case this will be reduced. That's how it is better than MOSFET. Already we discussed that base qualities of BJT and MOSFETs are combined. Next is about its construction. So this is the construction of IGBT. Here you can see that the first N plus layer. Here this structure is for N type IGBT. So that's why we consider here N plus and N minus as a drift region. Here this N plus region, buffer layer is optional. It sometimes seen in the non punch through or punch through. When it will be seen, that we discussed in the next slide, that when this buffer layer is used and when it is not used. Last layer is injecting layer and then the drain. So here you can see that it has the almost the same construction as the MOSFET. So again, like MOSFET, it has a vertically oriented structure. Because of it, the area will be reduces, also the current reduces. Here difference between MOSFET and IGBT is due to the on state resistance that I already discussed in the last slide. Here role of N minus layer is it can be used as a drift layer, and over here the N plus layer is used as a buffer layer. It depends on the non punch through type IGBT and punch through type IGBT that we discuss later on, that when it happens and when it does not happen. N plus layer. This is the circuit symbol of IGBT. Here this circuit symbol is for N channel IGBT. Here you please note that the input is gate, means its input is from MOSFET side. Gate insulated gate bipolar transistor, means its input characteristic should be similar to the gate, to the IGBT due to this gate terminal. Here collector and emitter is due to BJT structure, collector and emitter. Here you can also see that the arrow is in the outward direction because N channel IGBT is there. If P channel IGBT is asked, then the arrow is in the reverse direction. Now next is about the IV characteristic of IGBT. So for the IV characteristic, here again insulated gate bipolar transistor, that's why the input characteristic is similar to MOSFET and its output characteristic is similar to the bipolar junction transistor. So similar to MOSFET, the current versus voltage characteristic is shown. Here you can see that for different values of ID, means drain current, and for different value of drain to source voltage graph is shown. Here you can see that for different values of gate to source voltage, as gate to source voltage increases, over here you can see that for 3 volt drain current is less. After that, if we increase the VGS, then it also increases the drain current over here. So IGBT is voltage control device with insulated gate. So this is the biggest advantage of IGBT over BJT, that BJT is a current control device and IGBT is a voltage control device because it is insulated by gate. ID versus VDS graph. Here the VDS is at avalanche breakdown, that's why the power dissipated in the device will be very large, so it can be overcome using this structure IGBT. So breakdown is less in this case compared to the BJT and MOSFET. Next is types of IGBT. First type of IGBT is non-punch through type IGBT. Here we discuss this punch through and non-punch through IGBT depends on the layer of N plus. Here N plus layer, in the construction we have seen that the N plus layer is nothing but the buffer layer. So when this N plus layer is absent, then it is called as a non-punch through IGBT, and when this N plus layer, means when buffer layer is present, then it is called as a punch through IGBT. Let's see the different features of it. Here for non-punch through IGBT, the structure is like this: P plus, N minus and P plus layer. Here you can see that between P plus and N minus there is no N plus layer present in between, means buffer layer is absent in case of non-punch through IGBT. Now what will happen? First of all, for the same structure we applied forward voltage, means first positive voltage is applied to the construction. So when we apply the positive voltage across it, so J1 here, please note that the J1 junction 1 is between P and N plus, junction 2 is between the drift layer and P layer, and junction 3 is between P plus and N minus. So for these three junctions you have to consider the reverse bias and forward biased case. So first of all we consider that for this circuit, first when positive voltage is applied, then what will happen is junction J3 and J1 is in forward biased. Here you can see that junction J1 and J3 is in a forward biased, and junction J2 is in a reversed bias when positive voltage is applied. So the complete reverse characteristic is due to this J2 junction, means it decides the blocking capability of this IGBT. Blocking capability is decides by this junction J2, because J2 is in a reversed bias. Now what will happen in case when we apply the negative voltage across IGBT? So now when we apply over here the negative voltage, then J3 will be in reverse biased and J1 is also in a reversed bias, but J2 will be in on forward bias because we apply the negative voltage across it. So because of this, the J2 will apply for the breakdown voltage. Here J1 cannot conduct the breakdown effect because over here the source is heavily doped. Here you can see that this source N plus is heavily doped. Because of that, J1 cannot block the voltages, and blocking of voltages is only possible with this J3 when it is operated in a reversed bias. So what happen is that in case of reverse bias, comparatively J2 block the voltages and J3 block the voltages, means symmetricity is considered in case of this reverse bias condition, because J2 is formed between layer P and layer N minus. Here, and we already discussed that a heavy doping in N plus layer, and due to this heavy doping, J1 cannot block the region or block the voltage, but J3, means due to drift layer, it can block the voltage, means J3 and J2 will block the voltage symmetrically in case of non-punch through IGBT. Now what happen in case of punch through IGBT? For this, consider this figure. Here in this figure you can see that as compared to non-punch through IGBT, over here you can note that this N plus layer is present in case of punch through IGBT, means buffer layer is present in case of punch through IGBT. Because of that because of that N plus layer, when forward voltage is applied, here you can see that when positive voltage is applied, J3 and J1 is in a forward bias and J2 is in a reverse bias. So J2 decides this forward voltage capability when it is connected with positive voltage. What happens when it is connected in the negative voltage? So when it is connected with the negative voltage, here J3 and J1 is in a reversed bias and J2 is in a forward bias. Now we compare the punch through IGBT's operation with non-punch through IGBT operation, that when reverse voltage is applied with punch through IGBT, the J1, we already discussed that J1 is heavily doped with N plus this source. Because of this heavily doping at the source side, J1 does not have the capability of blocking voltage. But over here, the one point is added in case of punch through IGBT, that for punch through IGBT, this J3 does not has the blocking capability because of this buffer layer. So in this case, what happen is J1 and J3 both do not have any blocking capability, means do not block the voltages for this construction. Here J1 and J3 does not block, the reverse breakdown is very less in case of punch through IGBT, and because of that the device is protected and it has the faster switching period, means easily turn on and turn off. So widely used IGBT is punch through IGBT and it is generally preferred, while non-punch through IGBT is generally preferred in case of rectifier, because in rectifier we want some blockage in between when we convert the AC to DC. That's why we use we use non-punch through IGBT for the rectifier, and punch through IGBT is generally preferred in the other application because it has the faster turn off time and turn on time, and also the device is protected, and that's why for punch through IGBT we do not require any snubber circuit that we use in a SCR and TRIAC for dV by dt and di by dt protection, so it is not needed in this case. Next is principle of operation. We already discussed about the principle of operation of SCR as well as TRIAC and MOSFET. So over here the principle of operation of IGBT is almost similar to MOSFET that we discussed in the last lecture, that the creation of inversion layer will taken place in case of MOSFET. So here similar to MOSFET, again we recall the MOSFET principle of operation, that what happened in the MOSFET principle of operation is in between the N plus layer there is one P layer, and P layer has a majority carrier as a hole and minority carrier as an electron. So electrons will move on upward direction and attracted by the gate terminal and create one N layer. So similar to that MOSFET, here also the gate is insulated in this IGBT. That's why the same action will take place in this case, that over here you can see that above this P layer this N channel is created because of the majority carrier as a whole and minority carrier as a electrons. That's why again electrons are attracted towards gate and going upward direction. But here what is the difference is this N plus and N minus, this whole channel is created in this case. Channel of N plus and N minus is happen, and because of that the on state drop is reduced compared to the MOSFET. Now let's see the difference pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of MOSFET of IGBT. Advantages are easy turn on and turn off time, switching time is very better than the MOSFET. Also it is a voltage control device as compared to BJT, because BJT is a current control device. Switching frequency is higher than the BJT. It can operate up to the 10 kHz frequency. It do not need any snubber circuit, as we discussed earlier that in case of punch through IGBT we do not require any dV by dt and di by dt protection. Why? Because it does not has very large breakdown voltage. So this reason can also be asked in a 1 mark, that why IGBT do not need any snubber circuit. It also has some limitations because of asymmetric blocking capability. We already discussed in the punch through and non-punch through IGBT that according to forward bias and reverse bias condition it has the blocking capability, means blocking capability continuously changing depend on its biased Next is excessive power dissipation can take place at time of turn off. So this will happen only at the non-punch through IGBT, where the sub circuits may be required because of this excessive power dissipation, but it is only required for non-punch through. If we use the punch through, then it is not needed. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of IGBT. If you have any queries, you can WhatsApp me or email me at my email ID. Thank you for watching.